Alright, so we have another battle report here. This is my Bretonnians against an Empire list that I think is really cool. It's kind of a Middenheim, Ulrich themed, magic heavy list that, I mean, it's not super magic heavy, but basically he has one level 2 caster, but everything else is bound. He's got the Arc Lector with his 2 prayers each turn. He's got the War Altar with its automatic casting of a Lore of Light spell each turn. He's got 2 Warrior Priests with their bound prayers, 1 each turn. And then he's got a couple bound items, one that keeps him from flying and one that does the Burning Head spell. And so then he just has a level 2 sorcerer who has 4 dice to play with. So the magic phase is pretty nasty, but again, it's all bound. He can't miscast except for that sorcerer. So it makes for a real interesting list. And he's got 3 units of knights, plus some fast cav, plus a lot of flagellants. Real interesting list. My biggest problem is I only have 1 damsel, so I have 3 dispel dice and 2 scrolls, and that makes me very vulnerable to his magic attack. So anyway, real quickly to his list. In that house, he's got 10 handgunners with his level 2 sorcerer. He's got a detachment in front, Hellblaster volley gun, 5 Knights of the White Wolf with a warrior priest. I think that's what they're called. 10 crossbowmen, big block of swordsmen with a detachment in front of them, 20 flagellants. Here he's got 5 pistoliers, 5 inner circle knights with the warrior priest. Got the Arc Lector on the war altar behind them. Cannon, 10 flagellants, cannon, and 5 knights. So you can see it's a real diverse, real interesting list. Can't say again how much I really like it. So this is my typical list. You can see I've got Pegasus Knights, big block of Knights Errant, and Trebuchet, 18 archers, big block of Knights Errant, and that's where the points from my extra damsel went, was to filling out that second big block. 5 Grail Knights with damsel, 8 Knights of the Realm with my BSB, there's my general, fast cav, 23 men-at-arms, and then some Pegasus Knights. So Empire turn 1, you can see he comes forward just a little bit, not too awful much, except on my left flank he comes over pretty aggressively, which I thought was interesting because I really don't have a lot of stuff over here. He takes his first of all, his level 2 sorcerer got off Spirit of the Forge, but I had a scroll to deal with it. But his crossbowman shot at my Grail Knights and killed 3 of them. It's just some insane shooting from crossbowmen. So that was kind of a bummer. So my turn 1, I move up pretty aggressively. There's another look at the board, and coming to my left flank, I take my Pegasus Knights, charge into the front of his knight unit over here, hoping to get a couple wounds on him. I really need to break him. If I stand there, I'm going to be in a world of hurt when those flagellants come in. In hindsight, I'm not sure that was a good idea. I probably should have just danced around and used my mobility to my advantage. You can see I charged my fast cav into the flank of his pistoliers, and he decided to run and ran just a gazillion inches away. They're almost off the board in the upper left-hand corner. So my Pegasus Knights in their battle, they killed 1 knight. He turned around and did 3 wounds on my Pegasus Knights, which was just insane. I think in hindsight he shouldn't have done that, but we probably would have been locked in combat, and or even without it, he would have had the outnumber. So he had a good chance of beating me. But anyway, he broke the Pegasus Knights, ran him down. So my left flank is a little bit vulnerable. Here in his turn 2, not sure what he was doing with the detachment and those and his knights on the right-hand side, because it looks like I'm pretty easily going to get that charge. There in the middle, you can see he's being using a lot of finesse with that detachment. Let me go to the next picture, because the detachment's out there, and no matter what I do, if I charge him, I'm going to get flank charged by his inner circle knights, and that's caused me a little bit of grief. You can see my fast cav there in the woods. He charged him with his knights on the left that are in front of that impassable terrain, and I fled. If I knew they would be available, I wouldn't have worried so much about my big blocks, because I could have used my fast cav to shield those inner circle knights from flank charging me. But I didn't want to take the chance of those fast cav not rallying and them being vulnerable to getting crushed by his knights. So yeah, he shot a cannon. This is pretty funny. He shot a cannon and it hit one Grail Knight and two Knights Errant. So it was a real kind of a weird roll there. So the Grail Knight he killed. The Knights Errant he hit two. He wounded both of them. And then you can see when I rolled for my ward save, I saved both of them. So I'm getting really lucky. His crossbowmen are tearing me up, but his cannons can't seem to kill anything, which is kind of funny. So there's another look at the board. I mean, at this point, it's just a real fun game, real interesting battlefield going on here. So he takes his handgunners and he shoots at my Pegasus Knights and kills one of them. And then he takes his Hellblaster volley gun and easily kills two. I think he had 10 wounds. I think he had like 16 that came through and 10 that ended up killing me. So those guys are gone. So my turn 2, I take the Knights Errant on the right. I charge the detachment. I know I'm going to whoop him, and I'm going to get a charge into his Knights on the right-hand side. I take my middle unit of Knights. I move them forward as quickly as I can. I charge my one remaining Grail Knight into the detachment, and I hang back with my big block, because again, I don't really want to get flank charged by his inner circle Knights. My fast cav rally, and I'm able to use them to shield me. And my men-at-arms charge his Knights on the left. And I've got static combat res of 3 ranks outnumbered a banner, so I'm starting with 5. So he's not going to get 5 wounds on me, I don't think, and so I'm pretty confident of winning that battle. Take all my archers, shoot at that stupid Hellblaster gun, and kill 2 of the crew. He's going to get to shoot at me his next turn, and then I'll get a turn off of him not being able to shoot. So that's kind of nice, but I was really hoping to get that thing off the board. So my Grail Knight charged the detachment, killed a couple guys, broke them in combat, ran them down, and overran into the crossbowman, and he decided to flee and almost ran off the board. They are 1 inch away. Probably not even 1 inch away from the edge of the board. But in case I don't mention it later, they fail to rally on their turn, and they're off the board. So I think that one remaining Grail Knight's doing kind of nicely. Men-at-Arms lost 2 guys to the Knights over here, but I had static combat 5, so I won by 3 and broke, and more importantly, ran down his Knights. So Men-at-Arms surprising people on the left flank. Love those guys. So even though it's his turn now, that's me charging him into his Knights on the right-hand side. He couldn't do a whole lot with his inner circle Knights because of my fast cap, so he just kind of stood there. And the reason that template is in front of my Knights, he was trying to make sure that he positioned himself outside of my line of sight. And from this picture, it looks like he's in it, but we look pretty close. It was close either way. But that's what he's doing there, is trying to stay out of the line of sight of my big block and making it to where I really can't move forward. And otherwise, on this side of the board, he's just trying to deal with my flying general. So he, I think he gets the Rule of Burning Iron off and kills one of my Knights Errant during his magic phase. Then he, let's see, it's turn 3, so both my scrolls are gone. He's got Spirit of the Forge off both times, so turn 3 he gets Spirit of the Forge off, and I get lucky and he only ends up killing 2 Knights. So then he shoots at me and gets some more. And however it worked out, those Knights broke. Luckily my BSB unit, they passed their panic test, but I had a big block of Knights right in the middle of the table that is now gone. And on my next turn they failed to rally. And so we won't be seeing any of them anymore. So that kind of hurt. It's kind of weird. Both Pegasus Knight units are gone. My one big block is gone. My Grail Knights are gone. So I'm feeling like I don't have a whole lot left on the table, and my opponent does. So at this point of the game, that lack of magic defense is really starting to show up. We will go to Brett turn 3 in just a moment.